Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariana3 and it is Sunday, which means a new video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the best teams, the best rival teams on the next step that have competed against them and basically saying who was their biggest rival. So I'm only talking about a selection of teams in this video because there was literally about 20 that they've actually gone against and have been mentioned on the show. So the ones that we're not going to be ranking and talking about because basically there isn't enough evidence of them dancing for me to properly rank them against the next step are Superstar Dance, where Daniel left and joined, because all we saw of their studio was Daniel's solo. Joanne Chapman, CDC, who had Brian O'Layton in season 1. Did you know that? She danced with them in season 1. So my theory is that that was Rochelle, and then she saw the next step win regionals and she was like, I'm gonna go join their studio. That's my little backstory for Rochelle. Then there's Dance Inc., who had Shelby Bain, who plays Amy. And then there's Art and Soul and Confidence. So I'm not going to be talking about those ones, I'm ranking them. We're going to start from the bottom of my list, and this isn't people that literally are no threat at all. It's just compared to everyone else, they are the least of a threat to them. In bottom place, we have Gemini. Gemini also had a member of their team that featured in the later seasons of The Next Step, and that was Elliot. He danced with them at the regionals qualifier, even though this video isn't the best quality for you to see him. And later on, he featured in season 5, and he was on both TNS East and TNS West. He was also in season 6 for a little bit as well. Gemini was bigged up in season 4 as being TNS's big rivals. But to be honest, I don't think Gemini were even that good compared to The Next Step. There was nothing that majorly impressed me about them, nothing to be said, wow, TNS aren't going to beat them. It was just basically, I think they lost against them solely to fit the plot of Riley not being a good studio head, because their finals routine wasn't even that good. And honestly, I think that TNS were better than them. I think that, like James said, they only won because of their twin aesthetic.
The pure shock value of all those twins kind of has me worried.
Even though Gemini as a team have done more than just hip-hop in their routines, with these two girls doing ballet, I feel this dance especially was disjointed and they just didn't fuse the two styles well. They should have just stuck to hip-hop and brought something different each time. None of Gemini's routines had wow factor for me, and they just felt like they were doing dance battles on stage. I really didn't think that they were worth the hype. There was nothing majorly going on that really impressed me. One above Gemini, I have put Seeds. The Next Step went against Seeds in season 1, and they used to be West's old dance troupe. They went against them multiple times. The first time they went against them, they did a dance battle out in the open on the streets, and then they went against them again at regionals. I feel like Seeds are very big personalities. They wear a lot of bright colours, and they're very similar to TNS in how they seem like a big family on stage, so I really like that about them. But the thing is, they're very style specific and not very versatile. So they are hip hoppers, but that's literally all they can do pretty much. So they have been a threat to The Next Step in that sense because they beat them in the dance battle. But by the time regionals came around, I feel like all of The Next Step's hip hoppers could easily do everything Seeds hip hoppers were doing. I've put Seeds above Gemini because I think they dance with a lot more energy and they don't just rely on their appearance to get them extra points. One random thing I just want to say I've noticed is that this girl who danced for Seeds in season 1, apparently called Brianna, danced on TNS West in season 5, and I would have loved if they acknowledged this in the script somehow to show how Seeds now respect TNS so much that they actually want to dance for them. One above Seeds, I have put Life of Dance, otherwise known as Ladies of Destruction. They were in season 2 and they were the team that had all women and one male just so they could get through the male soloist round, which was very, forward of them, and at least they were honest about it. They were a very focused and very synchronized team. All of their unison sections were pretty much tight and perfect and unison, but ultimately, I don't feel like any of their moves were anything TNS couldn't do. I just think they had them, they beat them in terms of cleanliness and how sharp their routines were, not in terms of how difficult the things they were doing were. So I feel like they weren't very risky dancers, they were very safe. I did really like their percussion dance though. I thought that this was a really cool element for them to include. However, they lacked individuality and personality because of how robotic they seemed on stage and how much they seemed a unit rather than individual dancers that all complemented each other. I feel like The Next Step takes bigger risks with their choreography. They have edgier moves, they have more personality, more flash, more energy, and just they have a lot more on LOD. They have a lot more on LOD. Above LOD, I have put Encore from season 6, or should I say Miss Angela's Encore dance. Lily and Davis danced here, and also Jones, who we've now met in season 7. For me, their finals routine was one of the best routines I saw that season, and they would be in 3rd place, but I know that Encore plagiarised their choreography and their music. Their dancers are all clearly strong enough to dance it though, because the dance really had a blend of different elements. There was Acro in there, a bit of like hip hop in how dynamic it was, very contemporary. Their dance also required a lot of stamina, and I like that from a dance if it looks like you wouldn't be able to keep up with the dancers. To plagiarise a dance that's so difficult takes talented dancers, so I think that if they were given good original choreography, they would be viable rivals to TNS. We also didn't really see them dance, we only saw that one. So if we had seen their other dances in full, they could have been ranked higher, because from what we know it was only the finals routine that was copied, but we didn't, so I can't put them any higher than the teams that were 100% genuine. Above them, I have put Stockholm Dance Theater, which was the Swedish dance team. How do you... What was it? Stockholm Dance Theater.
Stockholm Dance Theater.
Yes, Stockholm were very technical and very sharp as a team. They only did technical contemporary at internationals though, and while this was really good, they weren't as versatile as TNS were, and I can see the contemporary dancers of TNS being able to dance their routines. Even on parts of their music where they could have had more dynamism and potential hip-hop elements, they stuck to contemporary. But hey, at least they didn't steal anyone's choreography. In their finals routine also, I feel like their set and their costumes did a lot of justice to their routine, and without them it wouldn't have been as impressive. They weren't very risky, once again. They were very safe, they were very clean, rather than taking risks and wanting to do some really amazing things. It was just very safe, yeah. But the one thing that did impress me was I really liked their tie-breaking duet in season 3 that went against Jiley, but I feel like they lacked on chemistry, so that's why Jiley beat them, and I feel like they beat them fair and square because Jiley's duet was beautiful. Above Stockholm, I have then put Summerford Dance Academy Studio? I don't know, it was the English one that Ella was a part of. And they also had Jessica Lord on their team, who played Lola in The Next Step season 5. Summerford were very good at telling stories through dance. They were very strong contemporary dancers, and everyone was pretty much very technical. And to be honest, I feel like The Next Step wouldn't be able to do their semi-finals routine where they were trees, I think, trying to capture this girl. I feel like that was way too contemporary for The Next Step to try and replicate. But obviously they did steal Riley's choreography in the solo round, so I can't put them any higher. The only reason they are so high is because we actually saw their original choreography from other rounds, and I think it was stronger than Stockholm's in my opinion, and all the other teams. Then in 2nd place we have Acro Nation, and you're probably thinking, Acro Nation can only do acro. Yes, but that is why it makes them one of the biggest threats to TNS, because if they were in an acro competition, TNS would not be able to go against them at all, because Acro Nation was so strong. But to be honest, in their regionals qualifier routine, they did fuse acro with hip hop and jazz funk style moves, so they're not completely a one-trick pony and can evidently do more than just acro when they have to. The fact that they focus only on one style means that they're definitely a threat when it comes to it, because all their energy, all their time, all of their focus is going into that. And if literally just watching one of their routines, I think their columns routine was a lot better than the one that they did with the giant O's. TNS would have no way of doing that routine. All of their dancers are specialists in the style that they do, and I feel like everyone was on the same level too. It wasn't like you had some weak links and some stronger people. I feel like pretty much everyone was the same. If you based it purely on choreography and talent, it would be like really hard to decide because they're so different, so that's why I've rated them so high up. On the other hand though, at a competition like season 6 regionals where there are a multitude of categories, Acronation weren't as well rounded or strong in every round. It was as though they had to have acro in every dance just to give the illusion that they were as good as everyone else, which makes them less of a rival. So in 1st place, you've probably worked it out by now, and they are legendary. It is Elite. I've put Elite in top position for biggest rivals, even though they beat them multiple times, because I honestly feel like Elite was such a strong team. Elite are now disbanded and Lucian doesn't own the studio anymore, but they were all extremely dedicated and driven dancers. They all danced with like 100% energy and intensity. All of their routines made me go, whoa, at some point. Elite really pushed themselves to the limit, and they did things that I really can't see TNS doing in terms of their routines. They moved as one while still having the intensity and energy and personality behind them. That's kind of what the other teams lacked for me. Elite were also a lot sharper and stronger than TNS were at certain times, and I feel like because they had such a high competitive nature, it really pushed them, and that's what made the audience love them so much. Overall, Elite were just very, very powerful dancers, and even though they were very much there to win and not just take part, they knew how to put on a show and smile and make the audience love them, which is ultimately what a true performer needs to do. No one would be able to suspect from their performances how unlikable some of their team members actually were. TNS's tricks are always very fluid and they merge with the choreography, whereas I feel like Elite has these tricks that they just want to throw in to make the audience scared of them and make the other team scared of them and make them feel like they are a big threat, rather than only putting in ones that are fluid and they make sense. Yeah, Elite are very showy for me. They have a big front on them, a very confident and technical and sharp front, whereas TNS are a lot more, we dance because we love it. So that was me ranking the rival teams and the biggest threats against the next step. Let me know if you agree with my decision down below. Like this video if you liked it, and make sure you subscribe because I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday now to get us through isolation, and I'll see you next week guys for a new video.